And in what looks like a real-life episode of Black Mirror, apparently, 9 schools have begun taking children's lunch payments, get this, by scanning their faces using facial recognition software. Well, the schools in North Ayrshire, who are launching this system today, claim it will speed up canteen queues and reduce the COVID-19 risk that will come with card and cash payments and fingerprint scanners.
Yes, but some parents and campaigners worry that it will normalise children being biometrically surveilled and that students may not be informed about the privacy risks that are involved. Well, Guy Cocker is a technology and video games journalist and consultant and joins us now. Thank you for joining us this morning, Guy. This feels, as a parent, I don't like this at all. I don't want my child having their face scanned. I don't know where that will end up. I don't know what kind of security systems will be in place and how that data will be used. Am I right to be as concerned as I am?
Well, yeah, I think that's correct. I mean, there is a biometrics commissioner in the UK, and previous biometrics commissioners have said that the rules and the laws and the protections around personal data to do with your DNA and also your fingerprints, there are rules around that. So if you're taken, if you give a DNA sample, by law, that has to be deleted within 6 months unless it has an ongoing legal concern. Whereas with facial recognition technology, the rules aren't the same. And so I think it is lagging in that particular area. I think that the argument that the 9 schools in North Ayrshire are using is that this is quicker. They've got, each of these schools has to serve around 1,000 children within an hour with their school meals. They need to be able to pay for it quite quickly. I don't think that argument really stands up when you think of other contactless technologies. Maybe against cash and giving change, that argument works. But really, with all of this stuff, data is king in the world that we live now, and that's why Facebook is so valuable. And really, when you're taking facial recognition, you're creating a data point, which, if you were to be charitable, I think you would say that might help schools understand which meals are being ordered and general trends, and maybe even nudging kids to be more healthy. That might be one of the positive uses for that. But on the negative side, the real value of this data, and these schools are working with a private company on this facial recognition technology, it's in creating data points that can then be harvested for marketing purposes. It's big companies being able to understand what food kids are eating and then being able to market to them more effectively. So I think, if you're playing devil's advocate, there are positives and negatives between this technology.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jamie Oliver had already ruined school dinners as far as I was concerned. We don't need any other help going forward.
Yeah, turkey twizzlers, I'll never forgive him.
Never forgive him for that. Back off, anyway. Well, gosh, let it go. Anyway, but seriously, you did name a couple of, or a way there that essentially this could be used for marketing purposes. Just talk to me a bit about that, because, look, if my face is recognised in a dinner queue, how can that lead to me being targeted for adverts? What could happen there?
Well, it doesn't even have to be personalized, and this is big data at its finest. So big data can be used to just spot, let's just say, every Thursday a certain meal is being ordered, a certain treat is being ordered, and then the marketing, which is on your phone at all times, could in theory be linked to that big data, and again give kids a push towards, don't forget your treat, your Thursday treat, for example. So it's being able to use that data at scale that's really the commercial application here. This technology has been used at festivals for a while. It was first used by the police, by Leicester Police, for the Download Festival back in 2015. And you think about it, when I used to travel by airplane, I used to use the electronic gate that would facially recognise you against your passport. But anyone that's used those as well would say that they're not very efficient. And actually, there was a study by the Metropolitan Police, an independent study, that found that actually the current systems that are being used are 81% inaccurate. The current facial recognition technology is 81% inaccurate. So it's really, it's not, the technology actually really isn't there to be really effective in policing, but it's still being used to be able to detect people as they're going into places like festivals or airport security, so that if there is an incident in a crowd, people can be identified and traced. So there's a legal application for it. But yeah, the school stuff, I can understand the concerns around it, privacy concerns around children just getting used to being surveilled. I think that if you think about children and the way that they adapt to technology, in theory, I would think a lot of kids would think, yeah, okay, I don't mind being facially tracked if that makes getting lunch quicker.
Yeah.
But actually, it's just getting used to that is a problem, I think.
Do you think it's quite coercive, actually? Because we're seeing this with the vaccine passport in other countries, for example, where you need them to go to a shopping centre or to go grocery shopping. It's the choice is there to not have the vaccine, but the price you pay is not being able to buy food. I see a parallel in here where if a parent doesn't want their child being facially scanned, well, okay, that's well and good. You can refuse, but then will your child be able to get dinner like everybody else? So it's quite coercive, isn't it? Quite sinister.
Well, I think it should say that 97% of children and parents have apparently agreed to use this technology in the North Ayrshire example. But you're right, it can be a slightly slippery slope, this technology. I get all sorts of crazy news releases hitting my inbox. The latest one was one that is apparently more popular in Europe, which is having a NFC chip, so a payments chip implanted in the back of your hand, surgically implanted, so that in theory, if you forget your wallet or your phone, you can still pay for stuff while you're out. I can see the use for that, but for me as a 39-year-old, it feels slightly invasive and not something that I would want. But as you get younger people who get more used to, as I was saying, surveillance technology or sort of seamless ways to interact and like I said, have a chip implanted, I think they're more open to those ideas, and it's a sort of slippery slope, as you say, as you have the need to be surveilled or passports or any of those sorts of things. It can be a slightly slippery slope, so I understand privacy concerns around it.
Cocker, thank you so much for joining us this morning and giving us that insight. Technology and video games journalist and consultant. Well, now